Hey guys, what is up? This is Cody or xCodeh. How's it going today? Hopefully everybody watching this video is having yourself a snazzy day. Let me know in the comments down below where you're watching the video from, inside or outside of the United States. I always love to know. Today's video, we got the third part of the Juvie experience. The time that I got arrested, ended up in juvenile detention over some devil's lettuce. If you guys haven't seen the last two parts of this video, I'll have them linked in the description. I definitely think this part of the story, the third part, is probably the funniest one. So hopefully you enjoy. Please leave a like on the video if you guys enjoy. So I ended the last video talking about how I had an actual court date. There was like an in-house juvenile court that was like on the second floor of the building in this tiny room. It wasn't like a courthouse setting that you typically picture in your head when you're thinking of court. It was just kind of like a fancy room with a judge table. That's all it really was. But today, on this specific day, I had court at like the big dog courthouse, dude. The 45 minutes away, get in the van, shackled up, dude. One of the first times I've ever been shackled. Being handcuffed sucks, but dude, having the shackles around the ankle, you got them all the way around your waist, you're like this, and in front of your body like this. It's a whole nother level. I was just mostly excited about just seeing outside. Like that was like one of the highlights. I mean, obviously I was really full of anxiety about the court date, but I was also excited just to like see like cars and trees and stuff. It had only been a couple days. Just from those couple days of not being able to see like trees or just cars and other people, I cannot imagine people who spend years in actual prison and how they must have to feel just looking at gray walls all the time, not being able to see out the window. That is truly just terrible. Once per day, there was kind of like a recreation time where they had this kind of, in the center of the building, they kind of had like a courtyard area that was obviously surrounded by walls. I actually found pictures on Google Images of exactly what I'm talking about right here. So once a day, we could go here, and that was like the only time I could look up and actually see the sky, which is a luxury that people often don't have in prison. At least from like prison documentaries I've seen. I don't know how every single prison works. So I'm shackled up in the back of the van. I remember I'm sitting there with like a bunch of other kids. I don't know. I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, just super nervous. I'm sitting there sweating because it's so hot out. It's like really close to July 4th. So it's like peak heat, like some of the hottest days of the entire year in Connecticut. I'm sitting there nervous, super hot. They got the AC. They must have had it on one, dude. Like there was no AC getting in the back of the van. All the other kids, I'm sitting there nervous. All the other kids in there, I don't care attitude on their face, like, been here 10 times. So it was like a 45-minute drive. The entire time I'm just looking out the window, like, how is this gonna go? This time I did not have that, like, confidence that I had the first time around when the public defender made it seem like I was going home that day. Like, it was like, no way that they could charge me with this. So I went into that first court situation in the juvenile detention thinking that I was going to get out of it. But this time I'm like, oh geez, I'm going to actual court. Like I know how this goes, dude. Like if anything, it's going to be worse than before. So I didn't have any expectations other than, okay, maybe I'm gonna get out soon, or maybe today's the day I'm gonna get out. Because at that point I had been in there for I think 3 days, so I thought that was long enough to maybe shell shock me. You know, that's what the cops wanted to do. They wanted to scare me straight, like the kids, like the scared straight show for kids. You know, I thought that's what it was gonna be like. It was like if you keep messing up, you're gonna end up in juvie. Like there's actual consequences to your actions, and I was scared enough. All right, this was it. That was. I was not about to do anything illegal from this point on, allegedly. But like, so we get to the courthouse, we pull around back, dude. There's always like these secret entrances to courthouses, like you would never guess. It's just like this random back garage door that opens up in the back. You get like windy road, not visible from the road whatsoever. Felt like I was entering the Bat Cave or something. So I go in there and I sit down in this like room before the courtroom, basically like a waiting room for people that are shackled up. That is the one time that actually gave me real jail vibes. Like it was like they looked like an actual jail cell, metal toilet. I was in there with one other dude and he was like really nervous. He was more nervous than I was because he had just talked to this public defender right before that, and they were saying it doesn't look good, man. Like, you're about to be in here for a long time, and he was just really stressing. And he was up next for the court appointment, and I was after him. And to add on to the jail experience, they bring in the lunch, dude. It's a little bologna sandwich with an apple. It's like the classic. I think I ate the apple and did not even touch the sandwich. Are you a bologna fan? I'm not. I never have been. Maybe when I was a kid, but like they're always putting mustard on it. Like normal mustard's just, it's not my thing. Honey mustard, hell yeah, but normal mustard. So I sit in this room and I'm waiting, like just waiting for like probably 45 minutes, and then I see the person I was just talking to a little bit, who had the court before me, come in, and his eyes are just red. Like, he is crying hysterically. He sits down next to me, and he was only there for like another 10 minutes before I was called in to the next room, where then I talked to another public defender, which I was like, man, they don't know anything about my case, dude. This is about to go so bad. And I was like, what's going on? He's like, dude, everything went horribly wrong. The judge is in such a bad mood. And dude, my heart just dropped into my chest. I was like, no, that's like the one thing I was hoping for, is I was going to get into this courthouse, get into the courtroom, and the judge was going to be in a good mood. But no, not today, dude. She's in a terrible mood. And now this dude's, got like this long sentence ahead of him. And I think it even was going to roll over into actual jail, because he was like 17. So by the time he turned 18, he's going to get transferred into a normal jail. He was bugging out, dude. I felt horrible for him. So he gets escorted out, and now I'm alone in this room. I'm just sitting there, just like super nervous, like just waiting for the public defender to come to the door to like tell me what's going on, like how is this about to go. And what would have been nice in this situation is a little HHC, dude. Check out snazzysesh.com, a company that I just started recently. If you guys are into HHC, I got gummies, vapes, and also the xCodeh snapback is finally available for anybody who'd like to purchase. A hat I wear every single day. I have another one with pins on the side of it, but I don't know where it went, but I have this one as a backup. Once again, that's snazzysesh.com. I'll have more information and a link in the pinned comment below in the comment section. It would have been nice to just sit there and get faded, but honestly, right before court, I don't know if that'd be a good idea. But anyways, so that would have been like a classic Ricky from Trailer Park Boys moment, getting baked as hell right before court, eating a bologna sandwich. So my time has finally come up. The public defender comes to the door, brings me into the other room, sits me down. Just a little stack of papers on the table. And honestly, it kind of just goes the same way the last court date went. It's just like, oh, you got all this stuff, and I don't think they're going to go hard on you. It's your first offense, and there's no real evidence saying it's yours. And I'm just sitting there like, man, you better say something other than that. And this is kind of important to this too. I guess somehow, some way, my dad was calling the Juvie and explaining that I'm a real picky eater, and like I wasn't eating for days, and he was like real worried about me. So like the public defender was bringing that up, and I'm like, well, listen, I mean, I'm good. Like, don't worry about that. But another 10 minutes goes by. It's my time to go into court. I'm shuffling into the courtroom, shackled up. I see my dad. He sees me. The moment he like sees me in shackles, I see him put his head down and start crying a little bit. Dude, you know that feeling that you look at your parents when you do something bad and you get that disappointment look? It was that times a million plus depression. And it was just, dude, it hurt me to my core to just see my dad like that. It was absolutely terrible. So I sit down at the court bench. I don't know what it's called. A table? What is it called? Is there a special word for it? Public defender's next to me. My dad's like 20 feet away, sitting at a chair. 10 minutes goes by. My court session starts, and the public defender just starts spitting facts. Cody was found at his house without the weed. It's his first offense. He's already spent a couple days in juvie. I think that's enough. I think he should be released on probation. And then he just slips this in, dude. He slides it in. He's just like, and he has a problem with eating, and he hasn't been eating a lot of foods. And the moment he started talking about the food, the judge interrupts him, and he's just like, well, if Cody doesn't want to eat the food, he's just gonna starve. I'm like, Oh God, this is going horribly. So now the judge takes over. I'm not leaving anything out, by the way. Like, the public defender basically said 4 sentences. This is his first offense. He wasn't found with the weed. He had already served a couple days. He should go home on probation. That's literally all they said. Now he sat down. Now the judge is talking, and she's just like, so I'm looking at the police report here, and he says that he's not guilty when his dad confirmed that it was his backpack. Like, just looking at me with such disgust. And then, this is the most shocking part of this entire experience. I could not believe this. It shook me to my core. She looks me in the face. I was just like, I'm looking over the police report here, and it says that a conversation that the police officer had on the police report to my father, my dad said that I was probably riding around with someone when I was leaving home for a week, not telling him where I was, that I was riding around with heroin addicts, and the police took that and put it on the report that I was doing heroin. So the judge looks at me and he's just like, I don't think he should be released today because he could go out and do heroin. I've never been so shocked when somebody has said something to me. I'm afraid of opiates. Never done it in my life. Dude, the look on my face. I wish I had a picture of what it looked like. Just utter shock. So basically the things that were said from the judge, the 2 core points was, you're going to starve and you can't leave today because you're going to go out and do heroin. Dude, I just started crying. I was just crying right then and there, dude. I was just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what the hell did I do to deserve this, man? Like, I got caught up with some devil's lettuce. Yeah, I left home for a week without telling my dad was. That's a horrible thing to do to your parents. But I'm sitting there like, dog, this is not me, dude. Like, this is not something that I deserve whatsoever. Like, send me home. And she's just like, yeah, I think we're going to give him 2 more weeks with the time served that he already did. So I think, I don't know if it was 2 weeks or what, but it added up to nine days total. And then I had another court date to see how I was doing. If I had good behavior, maybe I would get out. Maybe. That's the word she used. I probably cried the entire way back. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm all hard, dude. Like, I don't care. You know, like I was devastated, man. I just wanted to go home, man. This really isn't like the worst place in the world, but just being locked up is just such a different situation than anything else you can imagine. It just sucks, dude. It just sucks. It's like daycare for really, kids who mess up. That's really what it was. But it's just like, the food sucked. I didn't want to be there. The kids in there were intimidating, and it just wasn't an environment I wanted to be in. So we get back to the juvie. I composed myself so I'm not looking like a complete bitch walking in there. That entire day was just rough because I had no idea. Like, it went so poorly that I had no idea that even at the next court date, if things would even go well and I'd get out, I was just having thoughts all day of like, man, I'm going to be in here for months, because every kid in there had like 6 months, 1 year sentences. And I'm in there for what, 2 weeks? Like, that just didn't add up. Obviously, some of the things that people were in there, like, I know there was this really nice kid that I was not friends with, but it wasn't the dude who was telling me stories about a meth lab up in Alaska. But there was this other kid that, like, didn't seem like he should be in there. Like, he was just such a nice kid, well-mannered, and, like, he didn't seem like the type of kid to, like, actually get into trouble to this extent. And all he did was get picked up in a car from one of his friends and got a ride to a party. They got pulled over. The car ended up being stolen. And if you're a passenger in a stolen car, I guess you get the same charge as the person who stole it. So he got like a long time in juvie, and he was just real sad, like that's just the whole vibe that I got from him, because he really wasn't that kind of person. Like, he wouldn't have gotten into the car if he knew it was stolen. It was just like a wrong place at the wrong time situation. There was a couple kids in there that were like that, and those were like the kind of people that I would like kind of try and be friends with, kind of talk to, just to make the day go by, because we really didn't have anything to do other than like the 1 or 2 hours of summer school in the sweltering, broken AC wing that was on the side of the building with the sun beating down on it. So it was just boiling in there. Nobody was doing anything, all the work. Nobody was doing the work, because I apparently was the most educated person in the entire juvenile detention. Like, they were shocked to learn that I was in 11th grade, or 10th or 11th grade. I can't remember which. And then I hadn't repeated any of the years schooling that I've done. So I was just sitting there, you know, scribbling on the paper, finishing the work in 5 minutes and just had nothing to do. That was the only part of the day that would kind of break up the days. And then obviously like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which I wasn't really eating. The only food that I would ever eat is the breakfast, because sometimes, I think like half of the days, either French toast sticks or pancakes. Those were amazing. Those were the best thing ever. Of course, they hit us with the sugar-free syrup, though. Dude, they're the two things they weren't allowed to give you, sugar and salt. Imagine eating anything good without those two things. But anyways, other than that, the only other thing I was eating was the fruit cup at lunch and dinner, and sometimes they didn't even have that. So I wasn't even hungry, though. It was weird. It was like almost over a week of like basically not eating anything other than fruit and like pancakes and French toast sticks. Luckily, on the food side of things, my dad calling the juvenile detention over and over, he had to call like 5 times for them to actually do anything. They ended up bringing me down to the nurse office like once a day and giving me like a Ensure drink or something like that. So that at least filled my stomach up a little bit. I think an Ensure drink is just like a nutrition drink that I think it's mainly for like old people or something, but they're not that bad. So thankfully, when I got back to the juvie, I was finally off of the unalive yourself watch. Hopefully you know what that means. I don't want to say the S word and get the whole video demonetized. Basically, every night when we were sleeping, if you were on the unalive watch, someone would have to come to your door, put this metal thing into a slot next to the door, make this loud metal noise, and then shine a flashlight at your face and see if you're just still there and not unalived. So every 15 minutes, I would be waking up, because I'm a pretty light sleeper, especially in this type of scenario or this type of environment where it's just already, like, I'm not home, you're not in your bed, you're just uncomfortable. It's hard to sleep as it is. Now I got someone shining a flashlight in my face every 15 minutes. So I was very thankful to not have that going on anymore. But also, as soon as I was off of this, they put someone else into my cell to sleep at night. And dude, listen, nothing sus happened, thank God. But listen, the one thing that did happen was this dude that was in there with me, he would not stop freestyling. He would go on, like he was talking to me, freestyling. He just would not shut up until it was like 3 in the morning. Like I got up and I looked through the cell like window, and I'm like looking at the clock, and it's like 3 in the morning, and I'm like, dog, listen, I'm not trying to be mean right now, but I'm trying to sleep. Please, just please stop with the freestyling. Like, I'm down to listen to you tomorrow, but just please let me sleep a little bit. And he's just like, all right, okay, cool. Like, I get it, man. You're just trying to sleep. And then he just kept talking, dude. He stopped the freestyle, but he just kept talking. And I finally fell asleep. I'll remember that night forever. I remember talking to like one of the staff members the next day, and I'm like, listen, man, I'm not trying to be picky. I'm not trying to be, you know, like talk shit or anything. But dude, that dude will not shut up, and I cannot sleep. Is there any way you can transfer him or transfer me to another place? And he's just like, maybe. That's the best answer I could get out of anybody. Maybe. I think 2 nights later, I had to do that for 2 nights or something, and then they finally moved him to another cell. So I have 2 dreams to tell you about that I had in this that I still remember to this day, because they were just so vivid. It was a combination of stopping blazing, because if you blaze every single day and then you just up and stop, when you blaze every day, basically how your brain works in sleep cycles is it goes from like light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep, and then back to light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep. But if you blaze constantly all day, every day, your brain has trouble getting to that REM sleep. So you go light sleep, deep sleep, light sleep, deep sleep, and you don't often get into the REM cycle where you'd have the vivid dreams. You can still have dreams if you blaze, but it's not going to be like as vivid. And your sleep, I guess, isn't like the greatest quality ever. So when you just up and stop out of nowhere, you take a tea break or something, you're going to have red cinema camera quality dreams. And I remember I was sleeping, and I had a dream that I met up with one of my plugs at the time, and he pulls out this gigantic bud that was like blue, purple, pink, had all these rainbow colors on it, and it had magic mushrooms growing off the side of it. and he takes out this big bong. He packs a bowl, and I take a hit, and I can feel it in my dream. I can feel the smoke entering my lungs. I can feel myself getting stoned. And then I remember a panic in the dream thinking, oh my God, I'm in Juvie right now. Like, I can't do this. I'm going to be in Juvie for years. And I woke up full sweat mode, dude, just drenched in sweat. And now listen, I was thinking of not putting this second dream into the video, but hey, dude, I'm in it to entertain you guys, all right? This is the main reason I make these videos. I want to brighten your day, entertain you, and it's kind of funny. It's a little gross though, so listen. Listen, man, listen. When you're 16 years old, listen, you got all those hormones going through you and stuff. And you know you're feeding the geese on an almost everyday basis, but when when you're in an environment like this where you don't have privacy and stuff, you kind of don't. All right, I'm sure the kids that are in there for years find a way, but listen, I wasn't doing any geese feeding. Okay, if you don't know what that is, just think of someone standing up feeding geese. Okay, and a combination of that plus not blazing gave me this super vivid dream. So obviously I'm not going to go into detail about what the dream was about, but basically I was getting down with somebody, all right? And I wake up, listen, it was a wet dream, all right, bro? So my pants were soiled, okay, dude. They were not in a clean manner. And I wake up and I'm like, oh crap, dude. And I go up to the door because they're waking everybody up for breakfast. And the dude's like waking me up like, all right, it's breakfast time. And I look him in the face and I'm like, yo, dude, listen, come here. I need a new pair of pants. And he's just like, dude, laundry's in a couple hours. Like, don't worry about it. And I'm like, I look at him, I'm like banging the door. I'm like, no, dude, I need a new pair of pants. And he's just like, oh, okay, no problem, man. I'll be right back. Dude. That was pretty awkward. I'm not gonna lie. Like, he knew exactly what I was talking about. It was so bad. It was so bad. So at this point, it had been a couple days, and I had absolutely perfect behavior, obviously. I was not trying to do anything to further my sentence being in there. I was doing everything I could to get out of there. That was the only thing that was on my mind. Every single day, I was just staring at the clock, like, all right, just got a couple more days. This amount of more days, like 4 more days, 5 more days, and just trying to spend my time like just talking to the dude who would give me all those BS stories about the meth labs and just like the crazy stuff he did in his life, just trying to do anything I could to pass the time. And thankfully, this was like the best part of the day, is my dad would come and visit me every day, like at the end of the day during visitation time, because he definitely felt bad that like it was my actions that led to it, but it was kind of his final saying that it was like my backpack that really solidified like me getting arrested. So he kind of felt like it was, you know, his doing of why, like, that I was in juvie and he couldn't do anything to get me out, because once you're in there, the judge has to let you out. Your parents can't just come and pick you up. So that was real emotional. You know, every time you go there, we talk for a little bit, hug, cry a little bit. Listen, it was not fun. It was definitely not fun, but that was definitely the thing that I would think about throughout the day that would definitely like bring my spirits up and make me a little bit happy, knowing I at least get to see my dad at the end of the day. So shout out to the MVP, my dad, for being a good dad, coming to visit me. All right, listen, there was definitely a lot of kids in there that their parents would not visit them, and I felt horrible, dude. It's terrible. So I think I cut myself off. I mentioned that I had really good behavior, so they actually moved me to like my own cell, and this was like, listen, 5-star cell compared to all the other ones. It had its own bathroom in there, dude. Listen. I moved up in this world. This one had a bookshelf, dog. And I remember they had a library cart that they'd bring around once a day, and I hit the jackpot, dude. Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters. One of my favorite books ever. I think it's the second in the series. Dude, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. Yeah, is it an 8th grade level reading book? Yes. But should you read it? Yes. It's such a fantastic book. I really feel like that book molded my middle school mind into the person I am today. So I spent every moment in my cell, like every moment I could, just reading that book. I probably read it in 2 days, dude. I didn't know I could read so fast, and it was like I was in the book, man. I was like watching a movie reading the book. I've never been able to read and actually pay attention to a book in my entire life more so than these couple days. And I remember flipping through the book. I get to this page, dude. These 2 pages were just stuck together, and I'm sitting there like, what the hell? Dude, someone nutted in the book, bro. Like, of all books, there's nothing erotic about this book, dude. It's just it's a freaking fiction book, man. Like, what? Nasty. Okay, I'm looking at my recording here. I got 30 minutes of recording, so I'm gonna end the video here. But listen, the next one has some of the most memorable times in Juvie, and also how I almost, it was a very close call at the very end. The last day I was in there, like hours before my court date, and I almost messed up bad. Like I got put into my room, and I thought I was gonna be in there for years. I was having a freaking panic attack in there because of something someone else did next to me. I was at this table, but everybody at the table was like, "Go to your room, like go to your cell." I was so terrified. I hope you guys have been enjoying this series. Please leave a like on the video if you guys enjoy, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you for spending the time out of your day to watch my video, and thank you to everybody on screen for supporting me on Patreon. For $1 or $2 a month, you can support the channel and get access to the growing update videos, blazing videos, question and answers, sometimes a little nature vlog action. Thank you to all the names on screen right now. Your support really helps me out. I can't thank you guys enough. I have a lot of fun making those videos, and if you guys want more information, there'll be a link in the description. It's just patreon.com/xCodeh. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any stories about going to Juvie or ended up, getting arrested or something like that. It's not fun. It's absolutely not fun. If I have one bit of advice to you, from all of my friends that got put on probation, got in trouble during high school and like that kind of era of our lives, is don't bring kush to school. That's like the #1 thing that everybody got caught doing and ended up in probation. They got caught into the legal loop of they didn't want to stop blazing, so they failed P tests, and then they got 3 months more, 6 months more, and 10 months more, and it never ends when you're that kind of degen kid that just doesn't care. Because everybody thinks they can still blaze and beat a P test because it's 2-3 weeks away. But dude, it is just unfortunate how long. It's like the one drug that just stays in your system for like a month, man. Every other drug like leaves within a week or less even. But that good kush, dude, just a whole month. It was probably traumatic. It was definitely something that I had dreams about for a very, very long time. Like, oh man, you're in trouble. You're going back to juvie, like that kind of stuff. And still, occasionally, I have really random dreams where I'm arguing with teachers or just like doing bad stuff. And it's like, you're going to juvie, man. And it's like, I'm an adult. What the hell are you talking about? Looking forward to making the next part of this video. And I hope to see you guys there. Stay high, stay lifted, and stay snazzy.